The early 2000s and 2010s were full of cool and unique toys that a lot of us have fond memories of. And one of those toys is Webkinz. As a kid growing up in the 2010s, I loved Webkinz, and even though I'm older now, I still enjoy collecting them, and I sometimes still play Webkinz World, honestly. Webkinz has always been a special part of my life, which is why I wanted to do a deep dive into this 2000s phenomenon. On April 15th, 2005, Canadian toy company Webkinz launched a new line of toys, Webkinz. These adorable plush toys were special because they had a unique gimmick. They each came with a secret code attached to them that lets you adopt that pet on the online game counterpart called Webkinz World. A set of 8 different Webkinz were released at launch: the black bear, lion, cocker spaniel, hippo, golden retriever, pig, cow, and the black and white cat. The launch of Webkinz is celebrated on April 29th, which is called Webkinz Day. Fun fact, Carl Borst, the executive creative director for Webkinz, made a tweet saying that the reason that it's on the 29th and not the 15th is because in 2006, Easter was on April 17th, and he didn't want Webkinz Day to be too close to it. Webkinz World is a pretty typical early 2000s kids MMO. You can dress up your pet, feed them, bathe them, decorate their house, play mini-games, and talk to other players. The game has a lot of different locations where you can do different things with your pets. Some of these places being Kinsville Academy, where you can play different mini-games with your Webkinz to teach them different skills, the Employment Office, where you can do jobs to earn Kinz Cash, the Clubhouse in the Park, which are places you can go to talk to other players, the Curio Shop, where you can do a gem hunt and eventually get the iconic Crown of Wonder, and something I think is quite interesting, which is the Adventure Park, which is kind of its own game inside of Webkinz World that has a bunch of its own characters and quests that you can play through. At the height of Webkinz's popularity around 2008, the site had around 4 million active players. Personally, I got my first Webkinz and began playing in 2010. It was still extremely popular then too. My first Webkinz was the Ribbon Unicorn, aptly named Unicorny, and she's definitely seen better days. Webkinz also made other toys that tie into Webkinz World, and some that even have their own areas of the game. In 2005, not long after the initial release of Webkinz, they released Lilkinz, which are exactly what they sound like. They're smaller versions of regular Webkinz pets. There are a few that do not have regular Webkinz counterparts though, such as the white mouse, all of the birds, and fish. When you adopt a Lilkinz in Webkinz World, they're smaller than full-sized Webkinz, just like in real life. In 2009, they released Zumbuddies and Zumbuddy Clips. Zumbuddies are these little, fairy butterfly creatures. They live in a place called Zumware. Putting in the feature code of either of these would grant you access to Zumware and also let you adopt the Zum. In Zumware, you can take care of your Zums and visit their rooms as you can with Webkinz. And there's also a mini-game called Zum Sighting, where you have to photograph Zums to earn Zummies, which is a currency that lets you buy items exclusive to Zums. Also in 2009, they released Kinz Clips, which are mini versions of Webkinz with a bag clip attached to them, so you can put them on a bag or whatever else you want. The feature codes for these would also unlock Zumware. 2009 was a busy year for Webkinz because they also released Webkinz Jr., a line of Webkinz aimed towards 3 to 6-year-olds. Instead of being part of Webkinz World, Webkinz Jr. had its own dedicated website, which is very simple since it's aimed at preschoolers. Unfortunately, the website was shut down in 2018. In 2010, Webkinz released Mazin Hamsters. They came with their own feature codes that allowed you to adopt and play as the hamster as you would a regular Webkinz. There was also a section of Webkinz World dedicated to them. They featured the Hamster Hamlet, which is an area that you can run around in that allows you to collect moolah, which is a currency that you can spend at the Mazin Mall where you can buy items, and the Mazes minigame, where you could run through mazes with your hamster in a ball. You could also create your own mazes. Mazin Hamsters unfortunately no longer exists on Webkinz World due to it relying on Unity web player, which many browsers stopped supporting. This caused the game to no longer work for most players and was subsequently removed in 2015. The game is essentially lost media now since it's not been archived, and even though some of the files have been found, they're in a state that would be difficult to use to recreate the game and get it working again. So as of right now, there's no way to play Mazin Hamsters anymore. So, there was another MMO by Webkinz called Amazing World that was launched in 2013. I remember playing this game when I was younger, but there's very little information about it online now. It seems to be based around Mazin Hamsters, but has a new type of creature called Zings. You can also buy plush Zings and get to have them in the game using a code, of course. The game featured a lot of customization and your own house, as well as a lot of missions and a storyline that you can follow. However, the game shut down in 2018, so you can't play it anymore. In 2015, for the 10th anniversary of Webkinz, Webkinz World received a huge update called Webkinz X. The goal was to fix a lot of the broken coding of the game and add some new features such as the family score, which incentivizes you for taking care of your Webkinz by rewarding you. The update also completely overhauled the interface of the game. This update still included a lot of glitches and problems though. A couple of quick side notes. First of all, there was a weird Facebook game that was up from 2012 to 2014 called Webkinz Friends, but there's not really much information about it besides some old gameplay footage on YouTube. It seems like it was just a basic town sim type of game. And second, in 2020, Webkinz World had a data breach where a hacker leaked the information of around 23 million accounts on the website. Webkinz required all users to change their passwords after the incident and strengthened the website's encryption. So, there's one more type of Webkinz that I have to cover, which is the Webkinz signature and signature endangered pet lines. Oh, and small signatures. First introduced in April 2009, these pets were designed and manufactured by a third-party company, and they were larger and much more realistic than regular Webkinz. They also had a slightly higher price tag of $27.99 USD. The signature pets are highly sought after by collectors because of their design and rarity. Signature pets were not produced for very long due to them being too expensive for Webkinz to continue paying the company making them, and so they were discontinued in 2013. Since not many were made and they have high demand, some of them can be incredibly expensive to buy from resellers, especially the popular ones or ones released near the end of their production. There are a lot of other interesting Webkinz collectibles that were released over the years, and some of them are actually kind of funny. Each of these items comes with their own feature codes that you can use to unlock items in Webkinz World. Because there are a lot of them, and not much to talk about for each, I'll just go through them quickly. So here we go. Charm bracelets, charm necklaces, charms, figurines, silly bands, trading cards, perfume, lip gloss, mouse pads, stickers, coloring books, bookmarks, pencil cases, a stationery set, gift bags, ornaments, pet carriers, and you can even buy the clothes from Webkinz World for your real-life Webkinz pets. A huge factor in the popularity of Webkinz is thanks to YouTube. People began making skits, music videos, and even whole series with their Webkinz. Because of how easy it was to just pick up a camera and start recording yourself playing with your Webkinz, lots of people began doing it. There are also lots of people who like to take photos of their Webkinz and post them online. There's still a fairly active community, mainly on YouTube and Instagram, even though Webkinz collecting is much more niche than it used to be. In the earlier days of Webkinz, there were of course a lot of hoaxes and rumors that spread online about the game. Usually they involved some sort of hacker or rogue staff member, or ended up with your Webkinz getting hurt or killed. The most infamous of these hoaxes is the Webkinz killer rumor. Typically the story goes that you would take your pet to Dr. Quack's clinic and he would kill your pet or give them poisoned medicine. But there were other similar rumors, such as a black gift box appearing in your pet's room that if clicked on, a figure would jump out and attack your pet. Or a virus that you could get that was put into the game by an employee. Of course, none of these things were true, but little kids are extremely gullible and fall for this type of thing very easily, which is why these rumors spread like wildfire. Webkinz slowly declined in popularity over the years, going from something so many people adored to having just a small, dedicated community who still enjoys them. In 2019, Webkinz announced that they would no longer be manufacturing first-generation Webkinz, as they were not making enough sales for them to be profitable anymore. Fun fact, the very last classic Webkinz to ever be made is the Narwhal, and because of its short production time, it has become the most rare and valuable Webkinz. So after a long run, it was finally time to say goodbye to Webkinz for good. Just kidding. In Webkinz's attempt to make Webkinz relevant again, they decided to make probably the worst thing to ever happen to the Webkinz brand: Webkinz Next. In 2020, they decided to completely redesign Webkinz from their cute, slightly realistic look to these things with giant heads and eyes and tiny bodies. They kind of just look like Beanie Boos and completely lack the charm of the original Webkinz. Along with the redesign, they released a new game, Webkinz Next, and renamed Webkinz World to Webkinz Classic. The game is mostly similar to classic Webkinz, with the main changes being that the pets are in 3D, and you can freely walk around Kinzville rather than having to click through menus. You also have the ability to make baby Webkinz using 2 of your pets, and there's also season passes. Even though the game is similar, it's pretty much worse in every single way. The models look bad, it's missing so many locations and games from the original game. Despite many complaints and criticisms from current fans of Webkinz about both the game and the new plushies, they seem to want to stick to their new branding anyways. It's unlikely that Webkinz will ever be the same as it was during its prime. But there will always be fans who love and adore the original Webkinz and Webkinz World. And luckily, it seems they don't have any plans to shut down Webkinz Classic anytime soon. This was my first time ever making a video essay like this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Webkinz is something I've always been passionate about, and I hope that you learned something from this video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing because I'd like to try making more videos like these in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.